into the forest of the dud.
You're listening to a mostly harmless cutaway.
Mostly harmless. Mostly harmless? Oh, come. I think that's pretty good coverage for a disintegrated pile of rubble.
Hi, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
And this is Chris.
And welcome back to this. It's Mostly Harmless Cutaway, episode 117.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
He did the math. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, okay. I believe you then.
His accountant cross-checked the information, so...
Did we have Ian Y checked, did all the audit of the numbers on MHC already?
Yep. Everything checks out.
Excellent.
Well, I guess we're back. Thank you. Who was it last time? I can't even remember anymore. Was it just me and you, Josh?
Yeah. Flatline.
Flatline, yes. Good times that was.
Such a good story. Such a good episode.
Yes, excellent.
Oh, yeah, correction. That's something I meant to do at the start of this episode. Because I know when we did Flatline, if I remember correctly, Josh, I was saying that was my favorite of Series 8 so far. But
yes, you did.
I did say that. But no, I need to fix that. Go back and retcon. Because I actually gave a story a higher rating. Listen of this series, I completely forgot at the time of our last recording. Listen actually is my favorite of the series so far. So, I'm sure some listeners would have been confused hearing me go on about Flatline last week.
That's okay. You're able to change your mind if you want to too, like several times if you wish.
Oh no, absolutely. I just wanted to set the record straight again. So yeah, Flatline, still love it. But listen,
it's not easy this season because a lot of the stories are really good. So, well, all but a few, or one.
Well, hopefully we'll find out what that is. And of course, I'm glad to have Chris here because, of course, Chris, you didn't make it on the official RFS episode for this particular story.
For In the Forest of the Night? No, I didn't. I was unavailable to record with Warren and Steven for that one, so I'm happy to be here for this one, at least in the sense that I'm able to be on a podcast and speak of the episode. What I'm going to be saying about the episode may not be so friendly and happy.
Okay, good. I want some. Yeah, we need some negativity around this season.
Yes,
so.
I want to say...
I don't think we need it. I, for one, would love a 12 or 13 episode run of Doctor Who where everything was bloody stellar.
Well, great for the viewer and myself, not so great for podcasting, I find. Because I want to say up to this point on MHC, anyway, that every story we've done before this, whoever's been on MHC has pretty much been on the same page, week in, week out.
Yeah, it's like a love-in.
Yeah, it's been very challenging podcasting. So, we'll see what happens this time.
Speaking of that...
In the Forest of the Night. There, I finally got the title correct for once.
Just call it Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright.
That does.
That's easier to remember.
So in the Forest of the Night, now, I know we did, many other people had trepidation going into this story because we saw a lot of kids running around.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I actually had trepidation. I mean, one thing I can say about Series 8 so far is I've not been worried about going into any episode, no matter what the subject matter was, who the writer was, what the trailer showed me. I've always looked forward to everything that has been coming up. I haven't always liked what I've seen, but I've always been looking forward to it. That's still that kids aside, I mean, or even with the kids, I should say, that Forest of the Night still looked interesting enough.
I wasn't worried about any of the stories of this series so far, but Sherwood, from the next time, that looked a little bit, I wasn't sure about that one, but other than that.
I was worried about this one.
Were you?
I even mentioned it in our Flatline episode, Eric, that I was really worried about this one.
Because of the kids or something else?
Well, because of the kids. I've probably mentioned this before, Chris, but two things that bother me when they're in Doctor Who. One is kitchens, and the other is kids.
Yeah.
So I always get a little bit. I have some trepidation about when I see either one of those things in a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt about this going in.
Well,
I was willing to be surprised. As
my RFS cohort, Stephen likes to bring up anytime kids are involved in a Doctor Who story, when you have children involved, it doesn't matter what the story is or what peril seems to crop up in a story. You know the kids are going to be fine at the end. So it kind of takes a lot of the oomph out of the episode if you don't have this danger. Whereas an all adult cast, anything can happen.
Usually,
exactly.
Is that true?
Exactly.
Do the kids usually never not die, or but not die in Doctor Who?
I can't think of, off the top of my head, I can't think of any where they do.
Not since Bridget to Terabithia.
That was a great one.
Or My Girl. You know?
Oh dear. No, like Jamie from Empty Child Doctor Dances, for example.
Right. Definitely nobody dies in that.
The kids in Nightmare in Silver, the kids here.
I never really thought about it. I've heard Stephen mention it, but I didn't think about it before now.
I'm trying to think of other stuff with kids. The kids in in the one family anyway, in Fires of Pompeii.
Fear her.
Does the little girl die in the Scarecrow episodes with the family of blood?
Well, she gets trapped in the mirror.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, doesn't her body don't their bodies get taken over by the family or something?
Yeah, and the little girl gets trapped in the mirror.
Okay. I thought it was the girl of the family.
Or is it the mother? No.
Well, I mean, I thought it was the entity, though, in the little girl that gets trapped in the mirror. Not the actual little girl. You know what I mean? Neither here nor there.
Mm. You might have something there. I can't distinctly remember.
It's a little thing, though. But, I don't know, what was the deal with the girl in Remembrance?
Oh, she survived.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, there you go. Kids don't die.
She squealed a lot and fell on the floor, but she survived.
I mean, we're kind of grasping at straws in some ways here, but I mean, it also depends on your definition of a kid. Because I mean, if you look at Adric's tenure, he was often referred to as a boy, and he died. So.
Yeah, but that was okay. I was actually very happy about that one. So that one didn't bother me.
Every time I think of Adric, I just want to go back to YouTube and load up that video with the laugh track version of the end of episode 4 before it's shot.
Yeah, that is good. No, but I mean that's why JNT made it a huge surprise when Adric died. Is that nobody would ever have expected that would have taken place. So, so I guess that really is one. I mean. Not a little kid, but certainly a teenager, if you will.
And I do remember just saying last episode of MHC, from the next time trailer, this reminded me of the fairy episode from Torchwood. So, if
well, when you watch the story, yeah, totally. I mean, there's the fairies that prompts the growth of the trees. You know, talking through Maeve. Yeah, it's. What the heck is it called? Small.
The Boneless?
No. I'm trying to remember the name of the Torchwood episode.
Small Wonders.
Wasn't Small Wonder? No, Small Wonder. Small Wonder was the TV show with Vicky the robot.
Right, exactly. Why didn't somebody kill her? Oh, never mind. Go on.
She wasn't alive. Can't be killed. I can't remember the name of this stupid Tortured episode. It was good though, the Tortured one.
I thought it was okay.
Wasn't one of my favorites. But you know what? I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, and is it Maeve or Mabe or what? I mean,
Maeve.
It was Small Worlds, by the way, in Torchwood. But yes,
was it Small Worlds?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
The spelling of her name is interesting. I mean, certainly on Wikipedia, it's like MEOB or something H.
I'm assuming it's some type of like Celtic spelling or something like that.
Something like that. Just like Siobhan is spelled with a B, but it's pronounced as a V. This is Maeve, spelled with a B, pronounced as a V.
Ah, okay. All right, you've educated me.
I have to look it up again, but wasn't there some meaning to her name being that?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure. There was author. I read that somewhere. Yeah, look at me not having that prepared, but I'm pretty sure there was some author intent. There was an author intent with a lot of the first names for the children in this story.
All I know is if you type Maeve into Google, you get a lot of results about maybe Funke from Arrested Development.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Maybe.
Love that show. That'll be my next podcast endeavor. But
Maebh, yeah.
Yes. That's why it got a little weird on me. But listen, it's all good. I don't think it has anything to do with the story, actually.
No, and it doesn't.
It comes from Old Irish. It means intoxicating or she who intoxicates. Someone who typically drinks wine a lot.
Oh.
This is perfect for a 12-year-old girl.
I don't know. But anyway.
Just like it doesn't matter that one of the guest casts is named Harry Dickman.
Oh, good Lord. Hey, listen, if he gets together with Richard Chubb, you know.
Oh my gosh. His name is Harry Dickman.
Or famous lounge singer Richard Cheese.
All right, well, we've successfully devolved, but
it's not bad. It only took like 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. All right, but okay. I mean, I heard this said too. I have to always preface everything with on RFS, but I mean, you guys, I think Steven brought up a good point that it is sort of we know the finale's coming after this, and you don't necessarily want the deepest story right before that. So it is a bit of a how can you say? I mean, it's an okay lighter story. Yeah, it's lighter.
It's lighter.
It's Series 8's version of Boomtown.
No.
But actually, I know it doesn't have a good reputation, but that's how I always felt about Fear Her, is that it was just okay, we'll do this before things get really real.
Yeah, we'll do Scribble Monsters before it really gets exciting.
In a lot of ways, there are similarities between this and Fear Her. Like, you know, an alien presence that speaks through the mouth of a young girl.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, Fear Her.
It is 2012. We could have had the return of Chloe Weber, I suppose.
Well, Fear Her is a story I try to defend where I can, because I think it's got some good elements. I mean, the execution is poor, and the Olympics thing is horrible. But I've never actually sat down and thought, do I like this more or less than Fear Her? And oh man, I don't know. Probably
that's an easy call
I'd
for
have
me.
to say more. Probably.
Oh, absolutely. That's unquestionable for me, because I'm okay with this story. By the way, it's okay. I mean, obviously, one of the things that a lot of people brought up about this particular story is it's one of those where our protagonists really didn't have to do anything. They were just there, really, and just don't do anything. Just stay out of the way, and things sort of just work themselves out. It's kind of what happened in Kill the Moon.
Not really
it's kind of what happens a lot during this season, actually.
Well, this season doesn't have, in a lot of ways, formal, proper enemy monster type villain things. But I'm gonna take exception to your statement there, Eric, about if they do nothing, it all still works out the right way, because that's not true. Because the phone call they have to do to tell people to not burn down the trees is kind of an important facet, and if they don't do that, and
okay, true, our protagonists do have to do that, but they have to enforce everyone not doing anything. But I mean, you could say in Kill the Moon, the humans needed to be stopped from killing the moon, but I get what you're saying.
But why should anybody listen to a phone call from a little girl saying anything? Just saying. I mean, a lot of that was like just a little bit too into the fantasy world. This one was very fantasy oriented, more than I would appreciate. it's a little bit over. You know what? I think I would have appreciated it more if it wasn't the Earth. But then again, I probably wouldn't have felt any fear or any peril or anything like that. I mean, why didn't these whatever the boneless whatever they're called? Why didn't they stop the asteroid from hitting the Earth when the dinosaurs were around?
Because there's a difference between a solar flare and an asteroid?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you put a bunch of trees there, I don't know. Maybe it would have helped with the asteroid thing. I don't know. I mean, it's just very strange to me that this whole idea of. I mean, it's okay. It's just it was convenient.
It was convenient. I mean, the essentially spontaneous generation and then degeneration of a forest is kind of cuckoo, but it's really not that out of line with other concepts that have been shown in Doctor Who. So, I mean, as a thing, I can buy it that yes, this happens, but its portrayal isn't the greatest. Like, I mean, we should be seeing a lot more debris and road signs and broken cars and whatever than we are actually seeing. It's London. We should be seeing a lot more people milling around than we actually see. Like it's just not done right. If that kind of makes sense.
No, I know what you mean. It does seem like there weren't a lot of people around. Like one parent, you know.
Well, two parents. But two parents, the emergency crew they were into, but otherwise nobody. Oh, and wait, security guard in the museum. But it's London. There's a lot of people in London. I'm sorry. You should be seeing a lot more of them.
Yeah, they also didn't make a big deal out of the rest of the world, it occurring all over the world. And I know that's like a Russell T Davies thing, you know, showing the TV, you know, news or whatever it is. And they really didn't show the trees on, you know, in Paris or anything like that, you know, covering up the, and so forth, you know. They didn't go down that road. It just seems like
that is a money saver.
But by the same token, you don't need to either. You have these little snippets, and that's enough to sell it. Like the one reporter talking about how the football match between Ghana and whatever other country isn't going to happen because the pitch won't be ready because of all the foliage. I mean, you know, that's a funny little bit, but you have these few snippets from the news things, and that's enough. You don't need to know what the rest of the world looks like. You can make that logical leap.
I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's just a budgetary thing. I mean, yeah, just not showing, not showing all the people and everything else.
Or a time thing, but yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, all you guys are saying is true. And this definitely is one of the more fantastical stories. One of the more unbelievable in the way it's presented. But, I don't know, maybe it's just... none of that bothered me in the story. Just like none of the stuff at the end of Kill the Moon bothered me either. But that's just me, though. I understand everyone's going to feel that way.
It's just not a very engaging 45 minutes for me. That's all.
I wasn't too concerned with the story itself, but I didn't mind seeing the interaction of our main characters and just kind of see where is this going now. You know, with Clara and trying to, you know, say, yeah, really, the Doctor is this amazing person. Just wait, he's going to do something, but him not really doing anything. And
then things kind of come to a head between Danny and Clara as well. You know, Clara's been lying to Danny and saying, no, I haven't seen him in months. And then Danny finds out that she was in the TARDIS last Friday because she left her marking there. And, you know, it's good to see that kind of happen. And
yes, those bits were interesting to me. Just like when Danny thinks that she's just called all the parents or the school, but she's just been talking to the Doctor. And yes, those are the things I was interested in. The actual story and everything else, not so much. But yeah, I was okay with it for that. But I know. I guess I'm sort of seeing the other side, the people who just want a coherent story that's believable, I guess.
There's nothing wrong with it being a fairy tale, fantastical type thing. I mean, if that's a style of storytelling you're really into, you're gonna love this, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah. I think I said that. I think I tweeted that out. Exactly what
Okay.
you just said.
Cool.
Yeah, because it wasn't mine either. It didn't really do very much for me, and I just thought it was over the line of fantastical. I'm okay with fantastical. Like I was okay with Kill the Moon, quite honestly. It's an interesting idea, but this one it just seemed
I mean, the way you
over the
guys,
top.
the way you're saying you feel about this story, that's sort of those are my feelings way back on Doctor Widow and the Wardrobe. That's a story I really didn't care for, and it
Yeah.
didn't seem to really make much sense. And had kids in kitchens, it's true,
And Forrest.
and forests.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that one I really didn't care for. But this one was okay, again, for the aforementioned character bits, with the main characters especially.
Well, the other thing was like when you juxtapose this one against the previous two, it just I don't know, it makes it seem like it's not even in the same season. It just seems like it's just completely off from those other two. Now, that being said, I understand, that's what makes Doctor Who great is that one week you can be, you have monsters, two-dimensional monsters, and the next week you've got a forest out there for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But to me it was such a wide difference to what we had before that it didn't really help in my view. I didn't really like it.
The only other one this series I've really been disappointed with was Time Heist. And I think if I have to sit down and do a ranking, do I like this one more or less than the other one I didn't like? I think I'd probably put Time Heist above this. Like I'd rank this as my least favorite of the series, without much hesitation. But it doesn't mean it isn't. It doesn't mean it isn't without some good elements. Like I thought Capaldi, for example, was awesome. I mean, Eric, you spoke about the interactions between the main characters, and there's some really juicy stuff here between Danny and Clara, and then Clara and the Doctor with her trying to send him away. Like, thank you for your service, go. And the Doctor and Maeve, for example, in the TARDIS at the beginning was awesome. That was great. I loved it. Or him looking for Maeve because he's already forgotten what she looks like when all the other school kids are around. There's some really cool bits in it, but for me, what makes or breaks something is the story, and the story just wasn't there for me.
No, I mean, I can see what you're saying, Chris, and you know what? I mean, this is the great thing about Capaldi and in this season is that he's so easy to watch, and it almost doesn't matter what the story is because you just want to watch him. I'm all over that, and I think with any other Doctor, this might have been really, really poor, but for some reason, I just can't get my eyes off Peter Capaldi.
Yeah. I don't try to play the game of what would Matt Smith have done here or what would David Tennant have done here. That's you're not going to get anywhere useful with that, so I just don't bother with it. One thing that hasn't yet been brought up that definitely needs to be brought up is the direction. Cherie Folkson is amazing. She does some awesome stuff in this thing. A few examples I took note of were like the tracking shot around the perimeter of the console room with the Doctor and Maeve. That looks fantastic with the Steadicam or the handheld shot. The lens flares look really good. Like just the lighting in general of the forest between the lens flares, and there's that one scene where just before Maeve starts being the mouthpiece for the fairy things, just the blanketed sunlight thing filtering through the trees looked amazing. Like, it looked cinematic. It looked gorgeous. And also early on in the TARDIS, the Doctor and Maeve are talking, and we have the sort of POV shots, like, looking down on Maeve as though it's the Doctor, and up from Maeve as... and it was gorgeous. She did an amazing job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've kind of set the bar high for this particular this particular series, Chris, because the direction in this series has been off the charts good. I
Hell
mean,
yeah, hell
I
yeah.
mean, it's just been some of the best direction we've seen, and you've got this absolutely correct. I mean, that was the one saving grace of this thing is just how amazing it was directed. I don't disagree there.
Yeah, first time Doctor Who director, no less.
Yeah. and I mean they've done a great job picking folks to do this because it's been perfect. It's just been spot on.
Well, I mean, when you bring back guys like Douglas McKinnon and bring in reasonably big names like Ben Wheatley, yeah, it's kind of tough to go wrong. Rachel Talalay, I mean, she's been doing this stuff for decades. She teaches this, for crimini's sake. So, yeah, there's some good names on this series, and it's awesome. It's cool to know that Doctor Who can bring this caliber of people out of the woodwork, and not only this caliber of people, but also the kudos to the production staff in general for finding these people in the first place. Like, think back to Series 5. Who had ever heard of Adam Smith? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do? He directs 11th Hour and the Angel Two-Parter. Some of the best stuff that's ever been put out there for Doctor Who.
Good enough stuff.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Not too bad. Of course, and he kind of sandwiches Andrew Gunn's work, but that's another story.
Yeah,
they can't all be winners.
No. But you know what? I mean, you're right. It is one of the tour de forces about this series is the direction. I mean, between that and Capaldi and Jenna Coleman's acting, I think I mentioned in one of the previous ones that she might be the best actress, and I think you disagreed with me, Eric, but she might be the best actress to play a companion in the new series to date.
I didn't necessarily disagree. It's just, if I remember the conversation, I had brought up that I think a lot of people feel... I think Catherine Tate did pretty good on the acting front, but you disagreed with that, I think is how our conversation went.
No, I said that she was good, but she wasn't... I think Jenna Coleman is by far... I mean, she's gonna go far from here, you guys. She's gonna be in Hollywood movies. She's that good. She will make it over. She will make it over the United States. Look, Karen Gillan is okay, a pretty good actress, not bad, but I mean, even she's here in America now.
Well, I'll be interested to see what happens with J. Cole post Who, because I definitely never imagined Karen Gillan would be headlining a sitcom on ABC in this country. I definitely never expected that, but. Oh gosh, I don't know, because I was going to say negative things about somebody's acting, but maybe this isn't the place to do it. Never mind. Karen's great. Karen is great. I love Karen. Everyone knows that. But yes, I would be interested to see what J. Cole's able to do after this. I don't know. I mean, it is weird that currently, right now on U.S. television, we have... John Barrowman, we have Gillen, and we also have David Tennant right now on a regular basis on new episodes of American television. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, the world has gone crazy, especially when David Tennant is on like Letterman and stuff like that. I mean, it's just
in the eyes of Doctor Who fans who have followed a few years of the careers of these people. Yeah, things are kind of upended and cuckoo. But, I mean, British imports have been ruling U.S. TV for decades.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And not just them, but yeah, Australian and otherwise, Canadian, yada yada.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. In the Forest of the Night.
Well, actually, just random thought here. Like, speaking of Barrowman on Arrow, for example, Barrowman is... Yes, he was raised in the States, but he was... born in Scotland. The guy that plays the police dude is British. The guy that plays Oliver Queen is Canadian.
Let's not forget that John Barrowman's... Oh, wait, it wasn't Barrowman. But the police guy, his wife on the show was River Song, let's not forget.
Yeah, that's true.
Alex Kingston was also on that.
Was on there, yeah.
Yeah.
forgot about. I actually already had forgotten about her role on there.
Well, yeah, she's like in 4 episodes, but
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. In the Forest Night, sounds like both of you really didn't care for it. Probably your low points in this series 8. I don't know what my low point is in series 8, but I haven't figured that out yet. But I was still okay with it. I've already gone over why. It was. I don't know.
Terrible. It's not terrible. It's not like unwatchable.
Oh no!
No, but it's not good either.
But I don't know how maybe it's just because I like our characters, Danny and Clara and the Doctor. I maybe that is enough for me because I'm trying to figure out why am I okay with this story and not okay with Wardrobe, for instance. And I guess it's that. I guess because especially in Wardrobe, you only really have the Doctor as far as one of our regular characters, and there's just not much going on there really. But this, I guess it's that. I guess it's the interaction of the main 3 in this story, and the kids don't bother me at all. The kids are just being kids, and it's fine. So even though the story doesn't have a lot to sink your teeth into, it's perfectly fine, though.
When you rely on the kids for the comedy aspect of it, too, I mean, it just, I don't know, it starts to grind on me.
Oh, did that for you in this story? All those little...
A little bit. It grinded.
There are lots of comedic bits from Capaldi to kind of balance it out somewhat, though. You know, like just when Maeve first comes in the TARDIS, his explanation of bigger on the inside is this is how big a Coke is, but this is how much sugar it has in it. You know?
Exactly.
That's
that was
great.
great.
That's hilarious.
But you know what? I mean, you're right. So that was good, and it's Capaldi delivering that line, and it just anything that he seems to deliver, I'm all over this season.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, there's like I said, the story makes or breaks whether I like something, Doctor Who or not, and there's stuff in the story that just doesn't make sense, and I don't know if I'm missing something or if it's just not explained or if it's just not there in the first place. But I mean, these little fairy creatures, there's really not enough explanation around them.
No.
What the hell's going on with Maeve's sister? She's been gone for a year, but she's...
I'm glad you brought that up, because the first time I watched this story, I wasn't paying full attention to everything that was said throughout it. So when this girl appears at the end, that just got me completely, because I didn't pick up on the backstory of Maeve, I guess, having issues because of her sister gone missing. I didn't even know all that, so I just... Who's this girl at the end? I have no idea. I know now, but it is weird how it is tacked on as an afterthought. Maybe it was different on paper in the script originally. I don't know.
Well, I think it was probably the phone call that went out to everybody in the whole world.
Well, yes, I understand the explanation now. I mean, I've heard others say it.
Where did she go? Why was she gone for a year? How did she?
Yeah, I know.
How did she so quickly get back to the house? Why was she behind the bush? You know, there's
that was a bit weird. How the last bush was just there, just to make the reveal, like ta-da! Because it is terrible.
It was just part of the whole fairy tale aspect of it. The things that drive me insane are around those things that are not explained, but they don't have to be explained because it's a big fairy tale. That's why.
But that was the most odd bit, I have to say, out of the whole thing, though. The very end. That was very confusing.
Maybe, and I know it's been discussed ad nauseum elsewhere, because it didn't take long for this to kind of light a fire under segments of fandom. But as far as Maeve is concerned, and her, untitled mental illness that she has, and just the galling supposition that this person who is hearing voices and is suffering from mental illness should just stop taking her pills and she'll be all better, was it kind of made me angry. And I don't want to be watching a Doctor Who story and be made angry by something as sloppy as that.
No, I agree. I
feel like there's been something like that before during the Moffat era or in a Moffat story where there was something that had to do with, no, this person doesn't really have an issue. They're actually connected to something else. I feel like that's been done already in recent years. I just can't think of.
I don't know. Maybe it's a statement on mental health.
Or wasn't it?
Practitioners. I mean,
Oh, there was-
Maybe I'm thinking of Amy, like at the beginning of Big Bang or something. Young Amy, Amelia, where
Maybe.
her mother and somebody else thinks that she has an issue, that she's going crazy, but she's
nobody
actually
believed about the doctor. Yeah.
about the stars.
Wasn't there one with a disclaimer about mental illness?
That was
Which one was
Vincent.
that?
That was
Vincent the
Vincent,
doctor.
probably. Yeah, that was
Vincent the Doctor, yes.
Yeah, there's
But that too is also a bit of an explanation that there's another one. There you go, where he's kind of crazy, but it's because he's in tune with all these things in the universe that regular people aren't in tune with. But that's
Vincent and the doctor had the coda about, if you're suffering from mental illness, phone this number, and I don't know, maybe this was Frank Cottrell Boyce's statement on mental health practitioners who, at the end of the day, when it comes to bipolarity, schizophrenia, things like that, science doesn't actually fully comprehend the causes and things for these. So maybe his way of saying is, just don't give them meds. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's also the element of depression, Chris, as well, as a result of something occurring in your life that triggers whatever depression that you end up having. I don't know that it was I don't think the mental illness of Mabe was schizophrenia or any of those. I think it was more like a depression related mental illness.
Well, call it what you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically named. I mean, it's still within the same realm.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like I say, it honestly, frankly, made me angry at this as a resolution of stop giving her the pills. Like, even the kids know she needs the pills. I don't know.
I mean, if I look at it in terms of real life, I completely see what you're saying, but I couldn't look at this as real life.
I don't know
in the
what
story.
message they were trying to send there. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if they were trying to send a message. Because whereas there probably was more of a deliberate message than, say, Vincent and the Doctor, I don't think that was. I'm just completely guessing on nothing. I don't think that was the intent in this particular story to make any sort of statement. I think it was just.
Yeah, you're right.
I think so, which is why it didn't affect me too much. I didn't think about it. I definitely noticed it in the story when it was said and those things were mentioned, but I didn't. I don't think it's not as in your face as the stuff in Kill the Moon and other things we've seen.
Well, the more I think about Kill the Moon, the more I wonder if maybe it isn't as in your face as some people are saying. I think it's there, but.
But then again, I forget the political thing that people actually brought up more in this story, or at least Kyle, was the green agenda, I guess. Well, I'm going to call it the green agenda, but I'm just saying that was more the political topic, or that people noticed was this like a save the trees type of thing.
Which is fine. It's not like Doctor Who hasn't done environmentalism.
No, it's absolutely fine. I'm just saying, I think that was more the focus than the stuff about the mental illness.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, the mental illness aspect was. I mean, it wasn't really central, but it wasn't far off center as far as Maeve's character is concerned. But it was nothing compared to Vincent and the Doctor, because the whole point of Vincent and the Doctor was the exploration of his mental illness, and the allegory of the invisible space chicken representing his mental illness and his demise perceivedly as a result of his mental illness. Though apparently, recent research is showing he was actually shot by a couple of kids, and he covered up their deed. To make it look like a suicide.
Really? I didn't know nothing of that.
I was reading something about that not too long ago for research into Van Gogh's life, but I mean it's apples and oranges, no question, but it was still enough there to piss me off.
Interesting. Well, right by me. There you go. Any last words on In the Forest of the Night?
I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, it's not going to be top of my list to go back and watch again. I think there's plenty of other material from this series to watch again.
This is one on a DVD box set rewatch that is going to get skipped.
I mean, No, is it my first that I want to rewatch from the series? No, definitely not. Is it the top? Probably not. But because of, as already mentioned, the top three in the story, the characters and the actors, it's definitely something I'd rather watch than a multitude of episodes from previous new series years of Doctor Who. I like this. Let's just say Series 6. I like this story. I'd rather watch this story than a lot of stories in Series 6, for instance. Let's just say. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's true for me too. But it's probably more around Capaldi versus the story itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
it's not the story; it's Capaldi and his cohorts.
I mean, I really like Matt Smith, but it just seems like we're in a different era, and an era that I feel more comfortable in than where we were.
It is interesting. We'll talk about that more, I'm sure, another time, because I've only rewatched a couple Matt Smith bits since we've been into Series 8. And
you saw those leaked photos then? Okay.
I did, but besides those bits, I mean, the bits that I've seen, it is a bit strange now looking back already at Matt Smith as compared to this current year that we're in.
Yes,
it's really
we're only about 2 months since Matt Smith's last appearance, though. It's not that long ago.
That's true. At the end of Deep
technically speaking, yes, but it's been a lot further distance in my mind.
I'm waiting for more apologies from the production team that they brought in an old actor to be the Doctor.
Well,
are we going to see any more phone calls from Matt Smith, or is David Tennant going to show up just to please the fangirls?
At least it won't be Eccleston.
It'll absolutely have to be. I was going to say John Pertwee, but I guess that dates this recording. Not that it matters or anyone notice. Never mind. Sorry.
Edit.
No, I don't even care about the edit. It's just I don't even want to talk about John Pertwee. Never mind.
Don't talk about John Pertwee then. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. Unless we're talking about Season 8 of Classic Who. Then we can talk about John Pertwee.
So, Josh, how are we going to rate it this week?
Good question. I think we'll have to rate it. What are the fairies called? Are they called? Why do I think it's a boneless? Why do I think it's that?
The boneless is from Flatline.
Yes, but it took us so long during MHC Flatline for us to figure out what they were called, and I was trying to figure it out again for this one, but I failed.
Okay.
All it's I was looking at Wikipedia, for example, here, and it just says glowing bug-like creatures.
All right, there you go. That's what we're doing.
It doesn't actually name them.
All right, how many glowing bug-like creatures are you going to give this one out of 5?
Chris, go ahead.
Are half marks allowed or no?
Yes. Half creatures are allowed.
1.5 out of 5.
Wow. That's probably one of the lowest ratings there's ever been for anything on Mostly Harmless Cutaway.
And believe me, I don't like having to give a Doctor Who story a rating of that level, but like I say, this is my least favorite of the bunch, no question. And when I rated Time Heist, we don't throw numbers out there on RFS, but in the case of Time Heist, I did, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. So this definitely has to be lower than that. So 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah, and I love Time Heist.
I like Time Heist a lot myself. But wow,
absolutely love Time Heist. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. How about you, Eric?
I'm fine giving it. I'm totally fine giving it 3 glowing bug-like creatures. Not one of my favorite of the series, but I was totally fine. I didn't have any reservations as I was watching it that first time, and I've rewatched it 3 or 4 times now. I'm still okay. I'm still here.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with 2 out of 5 bug-like creatures for In the Forest of the Night, and I think that's actually pretty generous. I probably would go a little bit lower than that, but again, the Capaldi pieces of this, as well as the direction, that all those things brought it forward over 1.5 for me.
Yeah, without them, it'd probably be a 2 for me. But with them, it's a good 3 for me. Well, there you have it. And, of course, we get, at the end, a chunky next time trailer.
We do. A very big next time trailer.
Yes, hence the chunks. Any thoughts?
On the trailer?
Yes, next time trailer.
Unit's back. Gemma Redgrave is back. And, oh man, what's her name? Tom Baker Scarf. Lab coat.
Yes.
Ingrid or whatever. Ingrid, is that what her name is?
She's back, and we got Cyberman, we got Missy, it's looking good. Moffat finales are usually something worth
Usually,
getting
unless it's
excited
Series 6, yes.
The more I think on it, Good Man Goes to War, as far as a mid-season finale is concerned, is...
Good Man is fine.
It's good. It's good.
Fine with
but
that.
no, the wedding of River Song, on the other hand, is Moffat's much worst effort.
It's my least favorite Moffat pen story by a league. Wedding River Song. But that being said, and I've said it too. Everyone knows Series 5 has been my favorite of the new series since it existed. And Series 5, that is. And now at this point in Series 8, it comes down to this. Depending on how this finale plays out, will probably determine if Series 8 will be my new favorite series or not. I guess it hinges on this. Because I just want to see, is it going to come together some way, somehow? All this nether sphere stuff and everything else.
And how about the Clara piece here? They've got two scenes of Clara, one her threatening the Doctor, and the other one where she's telling the Cybermen that she's, there is no such thing.
Right, and I don't know if that's trying to throw you out, because it makes it seem like maybe she's possessed, or maybe she never was what we thought she was in the first place. But see, I would hate it for Clara to be a redux of River Song being like a weapon for someone else, or something like that. It would feel terrible to go down something that resembles that again. So,
well, plus with the rumors of us nearing the end of Clara's time on the show, which at this point we still don't know if they're true or not, is this going to be some, like you say, kind of like River Song, some big character twist that is going to change the definition of the character to facilitate her departure?
Yeah, so I'm mildly worried about that. I mean, not really truly worried, but I don't know.
Personally, I can wait a week. I can wait a week for some context.
Yeah,
I can wait.
Agreed. We're gonna need context. I mean, around the threatening of the Doctor and so on. We need that context. What is that all about? It's just it's over the top.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's 117. And closing out the show today, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
And this is Chris.
And until next time,
even if you wake up and there's a forest all around you,
don't panic.
Well, I said this, during previous recording, not on air, but during previous recording, I could not remember the name of this story. This is one that we're about to do.
It's Into the Dalek Forest of the Dead.
All I can remember was the word forest was in it, but that's about it. And I just could not commit the title to memory.
Run, Forest, Run. Rivers Run, Forest Run.
That's what it should have been called.
Rivers
that would
Run?
Been fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Forest of the Dead gave away the goddamn ending.
Yes. It did, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really thought about it. Wasn't it you that called it Forest of the Dead? Wasn't that you, Chris? Didn't you?
Oh, I'm sure I'm not alone in that. But yes, I called it that, and I seem to recall that was the RFS episode title back in the day for the review of that one.
Well, I don't know. I'd hate to go back to Series 4 at this point because I'd probably be immensely disappointed.
Depends what you're watching. I've I haven't done it, but I've had the urge to rewatch the Sontaran two-parter.
What's the urge?
Douglas McKinnon, as much as anything else.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, aren't you...
And Dan Starkey's first appearance.
Aren't you guys okay with that story? Because, I don't know, there was an episode of RFS I heard in the last 5 weeks where you guys just, like, offhand mentioned it briefly, and it's... No one said anything negative about it, and so I thought,
I don't remember. I don't think I liked it on the whole, but most of Series 4 was like that.
It was kind of weak.
It was. And then following that, you have The Doctor's Daughter and Unicorn and the Wasp.
Oh, good lord.
Series 4 didn't get going for me. I mean, Fires of Pompeii I enjoyed. Partners in Crime was... I enjoyed Partners in Crime because I was at the Jeremy Bentham launch party for it, so the environment was great. But
the story?
No. Series 4 didn't get going for me until episode 8, until whatchamacallit, just before Forest of the Dead.
Silence in the Library.
That's the one. And then, of course, it fell apart pretty quickly after that because, Silence in the Library was good. Forest of the Dead was disappointing. Midnight was awesome, and Turn Left was awesome, and then, Journey's End and Soul on Earth.
Exactly. Turn Left was, at the time, my favorite of that season. Turn Left I really liked.
Fires of Pompeii was and still is, I think, but...
Fires of Pompeii is decent. There's no doubt about it.
I'm a Turn Left guy, definitely.
I think we all sort of agree, on what the better ones for that
We do.
series
do.
were.
Other people don't, but we do.
Hey, look at the audience appreciation index or whatever for fucking... Was it 91 for Journey's End?
Well, you know what? Forget about the story. Just all those people all together was kind of cool. I don't know. If you take the story out of it,
Yep.
Return of Davros, who's a really good Davros. I want to see him again.
Julian Bleach was amazing, no question about it. And then, having the collective group of allies and friends there was nice, I'll admit. And then, of course, it all gets tarnished because it's done again a year to Captain Jack and the Visit to Rose and all that shit. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that sucks. I agree. All right, well.
it was great as an ending to the Doctor, but when you have the same ending at the end of Series 4 and the end of the specials, its effectiveness is reduced.
That is true. That is true. Well, good news is we're not talking about that today. What are we talking about today?
We already have been.